Hi, and welcome to Reboot 2020. My name is Chantell Tunney, and it's my absolute pleasure to introduce Dr. Yvonne Oswald, International Keynote Speaker and best-selling author of Every Word Has Power. It's in 11 languages. She's ranked in the top 5 in the world for Global NLP Gurus, and she's here to present Wealthy Mind equals Wealthy Wallet. Welcome, Dr. Yvonne.
Thank you, Chantell. I'm really excited to be here. My specialty is emotions, and I am here to teach you how to clear those emotions that have come up after a long period of interesting speculation. I know I've been fully booked with people simply because we've had the time to reflect. People are thinking and realizing that they have things to clear before they're going to be successful. So let's get on, and we'll give you some really practical tools on how to clear emotions and beliefs.
So why is it, Dr. Yvonne, then, that studies show that 80% of people's thoughts are negative?
That's interesting. When you're going through the jungle, let's go all the way back to survival. If you're going through the jungle and it's a beautiful day and the sun's shining and some leaves rustle, you better be looking at the leaves in case it's a snake or in case it's a lion or a tiger. And your amygdala is stimulated, you freeze, you go into the fight or flight. And initially you're going to get the fear coming in or run away. If you can't run away, you're actually then going to get angry and fight back. So anger is the top dog emotion. And the most interesting thing about that is, as we're looking at things, we will always end up with the negative just to see what's different. We're programmed that way. So we need to retrain our brains to search for positive. For instance, if I say to you, wow, you've done the house beautifully, it's a really nice room, but you've got, and you will always but that, or oh, I like your hair today, that's really nice, but you could have, and we'll always end up with that little negative. And we need to retrain our brains so that we're actually focused on the positive and what is.
That's really interesting. So we know that all change and all learning is not something that we can do consciously. So how do we change our mind?
That's really interesting. I think, do you have the slide available? Thank you. So this is a great little slide. Your inner dialogue produces 100% of your results. So we have to change the inner dialogue. Your mind sorts out 2 million pieces of information every second, puts them into groups of 126, and you're only aware of 7 bits. So I always think of it, thank you, you can take the slide away. I always think of it as like a big jigsaw puzzle. And as you're looking at the big jigsaw puzzle, it's got 2 million pieces of information, and there's a little shadow under the tree, and we're drawn into that little shadow because then your unconscious mind's programmed to search to clear out the negative before we can move forward. And the object is to say it's not just a shadow, the whole picture is there with sunshine, with flowers, everything else. We have to remember that shadows are not real. You can touch light, you can't touch a shadow. It's an actual absence of light. So when you touch a shadow, you're touching absence of light. Negative emotions are just like that. Negative emotions actually aren't real, although they feel really real. They're simply an absence of love, joy, safety, freedom, etc. So the object is to really open up a new paradigm in our minds and use the prefrontal cortex, which is directly connected with the nucleus accumbens, which is the reward center.
That is amazing that we can change our minds so quickly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Let me show you how, right?
Yes.
The way we actually go into that, I'm going to show you how easily you can change your mind. If you put your head down, what you'll find is that you actually can find sadness or disappointment or frustration really easily, and it will be in your body somewhere because we store our emotions in our body. So when you've got your head down, it's easy to find. If you put your chin up, the expression put your chin up, it means put your chin up and you're using a different part of your brain. Take a deep breath, look up, and now become aware of what's on the right and the left. This is called hakalau in Hawaiian, or the learning state, the state of alpha. And you then take a breath. It is actually impossible to find that negative emotion anymore because you're not in the right part of the brain to connect with it.
That's just amazing. I just tried that myself, and it's just such a wonderful feeling to actually do that, to take a breath.
Yeah.
I know that you've been doing a lot of work online in Australia recently regarding COVID-19.
Yeah.
And you've discovered some fascinating scientific proof of the results through your breakthrough blueprint sessions. So what happened? Can you share that with us?
Yes, it was amazing. I was working with a lady who had phobias. She couldn't go out in the dark. She had panic attacks every day, and she'd been working for a year or two on it. And they'd been taking brain scans and then treating her with biofeedback, alpha biofeedback. And we did the session, completely cleared the fears and phobias. And she said, I just feel a different person. And I said, do me a favor and go for a scan in a couple of days when your brain settled down a bit. And this is the result. Afiq, can I have the next slide, please? Isn't that amazing? So on the left is the brain scan the previous week before we did the session. It actually was a very long session. It wasn't just 4 hours, it was much longer. And on the right was the after result, which is absolutely normal brain. There's normal brain electricity, normal brain activity. It was phenomenal. So I've got literal scientific proof that it really works. I actually had a phone call from Albert, who did the brain scan, and he said, I have never seen anything like this. It's fantastic. And she's a different person. I spoke to her yesterday and absolutely happy and joyful and feeling really good. Thank you, Afiq.
Well, that is so exciting, Dr. Yvonne, to see scientific proof that we can actually change our neural pathways. And I noticed in the original scan, the electrical energy looks like the brain was on high alert, and presumably there was some negative emotions. Am I right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So what else holds us back from success?
What holds us back from success are two things. First of all, limiting beliefs and negative emotions. We know we can clear negative emotions in a matter of minutes, in a matter of seconds, actually, sometimes. It's very simple to do that. And the reason the negative emotions are there is your unconscious mind is saying, we need to talk. There's something here that I'm not sure about. Can I check in with you? So we need to welcome those negative emotions as just a signaling device from your unconscious mind. The interesting thing is with limiting beliefs, they're formed before you're 7 years old. So you form all your limiting beliefs before you're 7 years old. You know, there's 150,000 no's that you hear from your parents and all the other people that are saying things to you. Don't do this, you can't do that, money doesn't grow on trees, etc. And as you form a limiting belief, you make a limiting decision and then it becomes a belief as you test it out and prove it's true. What's very interesting is, like I said, we can clear negative emotions really easily, and we clear them in this order: anger, sadness, fear, and guilt. And anxiety is a different emotion. It's a future-based emotion. We clear that in a different way. With the other emotion, with the limiting decision and belief, we know it's there because something's not working in our life. So if you want to be happy and you're not happy, you've got a limiting belief in play. If you want to be rich and you're not rich, then you have a limiting belief there. If you want to be in a relationship and you're not, we have a limiting belief. And health as well. We treat all health issues as limiting beliefs and decisions. So
then, Dr. Yvonne, what is that fast way to clear the negative emotions?
Well, we can do a spinning technique. There's a very, very interesting technique that's actually used for clearing cravings. So you can clear cravings like chocolate or potato chips with this. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a very quick technique with a spinning technique from NLP. And of course, NLP stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming. It was invented in 1985 by John Grinder and Richard Bandler. And they got together and said, why is it that some people produce spectacular results and other people do the same thing and don't produce the same results? So they started modeling people like Milton Erickson, who was an amazing hypnotherapist. And he actually had various mannerisms, various ways of languaging that would really induce trance very fast, and he got fantastic results. And they studied hours and hours of footage and copied his whole methodology, and they were able to reproduce it perfectly. So in its broadest sense, a neuro-linguistic program is the psychology of success. It's how to produce results consistently and repeatedly, time after time. So with this NLP technique, we are going to use, we're going to change the submodalities, the little things that make the difference. You have your modalities, which are see, feel, hear, touch, think about, and the submodalities are: is it light or dark? What color is the room? How big is it? Are you looking through your own eyes or through someone else's eyes, or seeing yourself in the picture? So we are going to start with choosing an emotion to clear. So go ahead and put your head down, because that's how we get in touch with the amygdala straight away. As you put your head down, you're going to find something like frustration, disappointment are very easy ones to find usually, because those are day-by-day ones that come up regularly. So I'm going to work with frustration. So it's in here. And what we're going to do is close your eyes and make that emotion a shape and a color. Assign it a shape and a color. Good? Just any shape, any color. And if you can't imagine that, just pretend to imagine. Go ahead and spin it clockwise or counterclockwise. See it spinning? And then pop it out of the body, in front of your body, so that it's upside down. Therefore, it will be spinning the opposite way now. And if it spins the opposite way, I'd like you to make it a different shape and a different color. So give it a different shape, give it a different color. See it spinning the opposite way. And then pop it back into your body in the same place as the other one was. Lock it in and open your eyes. And now try to feel that old emotion. If I try and feel the frustration, it's not there. It's amazing, isn't it?
That's just great. What a quick, lovely daily technique that we can use.
Really, you can
right? To get ourselves into a good state of mind. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Yvonne, what about deeper seated negative emotions that might come up unexpectedly during the day? How can we clear those?
There's a really, really lovely technique that I've adapted from a fast phobia NLP model, actually. And what I realized was it was so effective that I could actually use it on abuse, on sexual abuse. People have been sexually abused, people who are it works great for PTSD, works great for phobias, works amazingly well for depression, even suicidal thoughts. So as we've come out of COVID, there's a lot of frustration, panic, fear, overwhelm, and anxiety. Those are the kind of ones that are coming up right now. So we're going to have a literally clear these completely. So what I'd like you to do is simply think about a time in the past or recently, head down, of course, to find the emotion really fast in your body. And where are you holding that frustration, panic, fear, overwhelm, and anxiety? Oh, it's interesting. Mine's in the throat somewhere. You'll just get a little waving from the body. We store our emotions, positive and negative, in the body. So we'll just get a little waving. And the reason we get the original memory is we're going to test it later. So you won't be able to have an emotional charge with it because it will be gone. Cool? So before we close our eyes, we're going to actually, I'm going to show you what you're going to be seeing in your mind. And if you look, you'll see there's the projectionist watching a person watching a cinema screen. And as you look at the cinema screen, you can see the angel or guide with you before you are conceived, then your mom pregnant, and then the baby being born, and your childhood. And those squiggly lines represent all the times, all those negative events and emotions, such as frustration, panic, fear, overwhelm, and anxiety, all the way through to now. The person in the chair is you watching the screen. So you are the projectionist watching the back of your own head, watching the screen. Okay, that's awesome. Good. Thank you. So go ahead and close your eyes. And as you close your eyes, I want you to find a time when you were frustrated, full of panic and fear, overwhelm, and anxiety. Find where it is in your body. That's right. And as you find where it is in your body, I want you to imagine yourself in that cinema, watching yourself watching the screen. And from the screen, you'll see that yourself with the guide. And as you watch yourself with the guide, then mom being pregnant and the baby being born, and then the child, and then all the times you felt frustrated, panic, fear, overwhelm, and anxiety, all the way through to now. Black the screen out. Jump into the screen, and I'm going to speak faster and faster so you won't keep up with me. Go ahead and run it backwards in black and white, all the way back to the angel, through all the times you felt frustration, panic, fear, overwhelm, and anxiety. Go ahead, get back into projectionist booth. From the projectionist booth, watch from the angel to now, feeling all that frustration, panic, fear, overwhelm, and anxiety. Jump into the screen. Run it backwards in black and white, all the way back to the guide, and back up to the projectionist booth. From projectionist booth, watch as you watch the guide, with you, then the baby being born, through all the times you felt frustrated, panic, fear, overwhelm, and anxiety, all the way through to now. Write it out, jump into the screen. Run it backwards, all the way back to the guide, through all those times you felt those negative emotions and beliefs, all the way up to the projectionist booth. From the projectionist booth, from the guide, all the way through to now, through those negative events and emotions, black it out, jump into the screen. Run it backwards through all those negative events and emotions, all the way back to the guide, up to the projectionist booth. From projectionist booth, watch from the angels to now, through all those negative events and emotions, white it out, jump into the screen. Run it backwards through those negative events and emotions, from now to the guide, back up to projection booth. From projection booth, watch from the angel to now, through all those negative events and emotions, black it out, jump into the screen. Run it backwards all the way back to the guide, back up to projection booth. From projection booth, watch from the guide all the way through to now, through those negative events and emotions, white it out, jump into the screen. Run it backwards through those negative events and emotions, back to the guide, back up to projection booth. From the projection booth, watch from the angel to now, all the way through those negative events and emotions, white it out, and open your eyes. Thank you, FD. Awesome. So that's very interesting. So now go ahead and try to feel frustration, panic, fear, overwhelm, and anxiety. So even if you put your head down and attempt to get to those emotions, you won't find them there. It's completely neutralized it.
I couldn't get there. That was awesome.
You can't get there. Exactly.
No,
it's completely gone.
Yeah,
You'll remember the event and you won't remember any of the emotions associated with it. So I use this as part of my 4-hour breakthrough blueprint. I actually invented this a few years ago when I was in Switzerland. And what I realized was I needed a technique which would be completely non-situational. It will really work across the board, because that's true neuro-linguistic programming is. If I teach you how to do it, you can do it literally 10 minutes later and produce the same results without having to go through a learning curve. To me, that's the true meaning of neuro-linguistic programming. So yeah, I teach this as a workshop at the end of the masters that I'm training people in, and it works beautifully. We produce fabulous results.
Mm-hmm. So Dr. Yvonne, what about overwhelm? That's huge right now. And what makes it easier?
Overwhelm is really, really very important. What happens is people take on too much. And in NLP, we call that chunking up too much. We take on a whole day's work. We've got our list of things to do. We get up, we're going to do an hour's exercise. And we do 2 minutes or not even at all. And what happens is you end up doing the whole day thinking about what you're going to do instead of actually getting on with it. So the perfect solution for that is to take it to one little thing, the smallest possible thing you could possibly imagine. So as you get up in the morning, you're going to think of the one essential thing you have to do that day. With me, sometimes it's just posting a letter or paying a bill or answering one email. And as you do that one little job, what happens is the rest of everything behind it fall into place beautifully. Most people make this list of 20 things. They'll get 19 done and think, gosh, I didn't do the 20. Instead of saying, wow, I did 19, that's amazing. So what we're going to do is one little job, and any more is bonus. With exercise, 5 minutes exercise a day is all you need, because anything more than that is bonus. If you do an hour a day, fantastic. If you set out thinking I'll do an hour a day, for people who are not that motivated, you won't do it. You'll just sit there at home watching TV or having a coffee. So what we're going to do is make sure that you actually do just 5 minutes, and any more is bonus. The idea of, we put our bars up, so it's never enough, never enough, never enough. And that's really what leads to overwhelm, is that we're always demanding more of ourselves. If you demand a little bit of yourself and then just everything else is celebration, it's very easy. So if you're wanting to eat healthily, you'll go into a supermarket and choose 5 different colors of fruits and 5 different colors of vegetables. Make sure you've got the colors on your plate and you've got a really healthy eating plan. 1 salad a day or 1 bit of green a day. I always say your body's a bank, put green in it. That's a lettuce leaf or something green, broccoli or something. So really, that's the really easiest way around it, is the smallest possible job. You don't start tidying a house by doing a whole house. You start with 1 room, 1 cupboard, 1 little drawer, and then let the rest take care, because you will carry on.
These are just such beautiful, simple techniques and tips to make life quiet. It's beautiful. So finally, let's just talk a little bit of anxiety, because it seems to be a 21st century issue. So Dr. Yvonne, how do we clear that?
Anxiety really is a very interesting, it's a different kind of emotion. We can clear anger, sadness, fear, guilt easily because it's in the past, it's in our body, it's locked in there. Anxiety by its very nature hasn't even happened yet. So what we need to do is get a happy ending to it. So literally what we want to do is think of a time in the future when you really, really are happy and free on every level, when you know you've really achieved something. Usually I like 6 months. 6 to 9 months is an ideal time because you can still imagine that. 12 months and past it's a bit beyond your conscious mind. So what you're going to do is actually just literally think of a date 6 months into the future. We do need to date it and put the year in. So I'm going to say September the 19th, 2020. Okay. So go ahead and close your eyes and find yourself floating above your body out to the future, and find yourself actually looking at yourself in the future as you go about your daily life. How successful you are, how beautiful you are, how slim and healthy you are. Look at your friends, look at your relationships, look at really the career you're doing and how successful it is and how much money you have. Find your home, find where you're living because it's beautiful. And it's a really, really great, great vision of the future. This is the real future you. And as you find yourself in that future, the future you suddenly spots you from today and says, hey, you took your time finding me. Let me tell you how to get here faster. And the future you says to you, all you have to do is, that's right, very simple. And the future you gives you a gift, a box. Open the box and take something out of it. What does that signify to you? Or pretend to take something out of it. What relevance does it have to you? What does it mean? And the future you says to you, let me give you all the resources and information I have now that you haven't got yet. And you say, gladly, give it to me. The future gives it you lock it in your heart, along with all the gift, along with the other advice, etc., everything, and all those beautiful future memories. And I'd like you to wash the whole picture with one color. As you wash the picture with one color, take a deep breath of that color, lock it into your heart as you release it, and then find the one cell in your heart that remembers the most of that color, that freedom, that beautiful freedom energy. Put a face to arms and legs on it. High five and hug every other cell in your heart, in your lungs, in your liver, in your kidneys, in your spleen, right down into your intestines, right down your legs, your knees, your calves, your feet, your toes, into your internal organs, into your spine. Every cell singing and alive and celebrating freedom. Into your shoulders, relaxing your shoulders, allowing those lovely cells to remind themselves of the blueprint of perfect health and healing on every level, mind, body, and spirit. Up into your head, into your neck, your shoulders, into your brain cells, your face softening, every hair follicle singing and alive with that beautiful freedom. Really take a deep breath, lock it in, and open your eyes. Now try and be anxious, and it's impossible.
What a wonderful, Dr. Yvonne, you just shared some beautiful techniques with us today.
Fabulous, huh?
Yeah, fabulous, simple.
Yes.
So if people want to know more about this, want more information, want to contact you, where can they do that?
Okay. Well, the interesting thing is, if you go to YouTube and write in Yvonne Oswald, there's also another technique that I was nominated for a Visionary Award for, Mind Magic. So Mind Magic is a day-by-day thing you can do just to clear emotions as they come up. You know, if the lady in the booth next to you is not making you feel great, you can go into the tea room and do Mind Magic and clear it really fast. So that's another technique that's a real quick fix. I have the spinning technique on YouTube apparently, and I have procrastination, anxiety, grief, everything. So if you go to YouTube, you can join my YouTube channel and actually go and find all the techniques that I've been using, and they are free, and you can contact me for a breakthrough session or for a training in NLP, hypnosis, right up to master's level. And that'd be lovely. I'd be really happy to talk to you and have a good chat with you and have a discovery call for how I can help you. And it's globalwelcome.com, GLOBAL welcome.com.
There we go. Flying across the bottom.
Oh, fabulous.
Well,
Good job.
Dr. Yvonne, it's been an absolute pleasure learning so much about how we can think differently so sweetly and easily every day with some of these tips
Right.
and really change our mindset for success. So thank you so much for being here and sharing all of this wonderful information with us.
Thank you. It was great. And everybody have a wonderful future in our whole new world now, and literally make your thought pathways and change and get on the thought expressway, the thinking expressway. And we're off and running into success and happiness and freedom. Bye for now.